This is a story about witchcraft and church infiltration. I planted a church in Southeast Baltimore, and I was befriended by a young white male who presented a story of himself as a former pro-am boxer from the inner city streets of Highlandtown, Baltimore, Maryland. At first, he said he did all the right things. My pastor's heart wanted to believe in his sincerity, but something wasn't right in my spirit. I mean, after all, he came bearing gifts for the pastor. He volunteered to do the work at the church, and I spent a lot of time with him. I felt, this is the pastorly thing to do, right? Spend time with him. So we would ride all over town together. He would teach me about the city's underground, gangs, crime, and drug trade, and I would teach him about Jesus. So I found myself in his grandmother's row home, meeting her as he was putting across an image of me becoming a part of the family. So the more we spent time, the more his past truly came out. His father was a Dead Men Incorporated gang member, one of the originals, and he never saw his father much. I found out later his girlfriend at that time was a DMI Diamond, which a diamond is a female member with specific purpose to the organization. His story about being a pro-am boxer was in fact true, but his career came to an end when he was attacked and he was beaten with iron rods. Pretty brutal. The deeper we got into his past, the more stories came out of him being shot and stabbed. I think he was shot twice, and he was stabbed definitely 4, maybe 5 times. Then the truth about his being a drug dealer and a heavy drug user came up. He began to display different personalities, and one day he downloaded a story that made me excuse myself. I walked away and I bawled my eyes out. He described to me how his mother would go to work every day and her boyfriend would call over his friends. They would take him to the basement and violently rape him in the basement. This happened for years and his mother never believed him. I prayed deliverance over young Bull. He experienced true deliverance, but he wasn't saved, and they came back with a vengeance, which is in the Bible book of Matthew. His cover was blown, and then young Bull disappeared, and I never saw him again. About a year later, I ran into his mother on the street. She acted concerned about him, but it came across fake to me. I asked how he was, and she replied, he needs help. And then she told me that he was worshiping the Norse god Thor, which is paganism. It's worshiping the old gods. Her lack of concern about him that day mirrored what he said about when he went to her about being raped in her basement. Did the mother have a part in these things? Was this satanic torture or satanic ritual abuse? Jesus revealed to me later that young Bull was in fact a church infiltrator, and that Jesus allowed this experience to teach me. And this is what I've learned. Witches are taught to infiltrate churches and gain positions of authority, such as over your children, the finances of the church, assisting the pastor, all to gain access by means of faking salvation, bearing gifts, charged with spells. They volunteer, gain position, and curse the church, pastor, and his family and ministry. They take up a lot of the pastor's time to render his efforts useless for doing the real work of the ministry. They spread gossip and rumors and destroy the church and the fellowship. They cast demonic spells, all for the purpose of destroying the holy gathering of the church in Jesus' name. Pastors, do you have any young bulls in your church? If you're interested in this topic, you can click above or below, and you can go and read this website. It'll take you directly to the main page, which is called Chronicles of Witchcraft. And you can click any of those links and learn more about witchcraft, churches being infiltrated, and what I've learned over the past. You could gain or contact me by going to the Contact Us page on my website. Look, clear the witches out of your church, pastor. They don't belong there, and you know it. You know it. Also, church congregations, right now, you Christians, forward this message to your pastor.